Just give me a minute because a lot of participants are joining in. So we are just giving them a minute more. Good morning, Amit. Thank you for being here. Thank you for the overwhelming response from across the world. So we have participants from many countries out here at present, and a lot of them are still joining in. I hope everyone has got the Excel file on which we'll be working along. Okay, so a quick question. Uh, a quick question to everyone. This is a workshop, this is a masterclass where we'll try to touch upon the graphs and charts which are not generally used by all of us, right? Which we are not using generally. That is the types of graphs and charts we want to cover in this masterclass, and also take you through what potential graphs and charts of visualization has for us. So just a quick question to all of you. Generally, what types of graphs and charts in Excel we are using? If we can answer this in chat. Generally, which graphs and charts we use? We can bar, scatter, great. Scatter, bar, column, funnel, scatter, pie. Okay, waterfall, tree chart, great. Bar, pie, pie. Okay, so what I can understand from most of the responses out here is we are generally, most of us are generally using bar, column, pie, line chart, but there is much more to it when it comes to graphs and charts. So what we do, we'll put on some cases. If you just look at this data that I have on screen, we have a month data, we have actual sales, and we have target sales. So if I ask you to create a graph out of it, that means I want to see on a graph which a month, actual sales, and the target sales. Now, generally what we end up doing is we will go to this insert tab, right? We'll go to this insert tab. We go to this recommended charts also. And even if you see this recommended chart, these types of charts which comes up. Now, when I press OK, this is what gets drawn. Now, the issue is if I draw this graph like this, can you see how many bars are there? These are 7 months and these are 14 bars. I've been always been saying putting a 14 bars or 20 bars or 25 bars in one Excel chart may not be a very good idea because then we are not able to interpret this, right? Before I show you, and just let me know one more thing. If instead of this graph, this is what actual sales versus target sales, probably not easily readable. If instead of this graph, I put on a graph which looks like this, or probably a graph which looks like this, more customized than this also. But if I put on a graph which looks like this, is it a better graph? Just have a look at it, where we have this is the actual sales and these are the target sales. Looking at it, can you interpret it better than what you were able to interpret in this chart? Right? What we have put in here, looking at it, I know which month I could beat it, in which month I could not beat it. Right? So this is one chart we'll try to draw in much more sophisticated way. Before that, I would also love to show you, we have been using very few charts. Just a minute. Okay. Now, if you put in all charts, if there is a lot of people who are entering. So what is happening is I'm getting prompts again and again. Anyways, so if I go to this tab and I go to all charts, recommended charts and all charts. Can you see in this all chart, there are so many types of charts. Even in column chart, you have 7 types of column charts. And within those 2, you have 2. So even column charts can be 14 types. And if I just keep on clicking this, very rarely we would have used a radar chart or a tree map chart or a sunburst chart or histogram chart. So there are a huge number of charts that we have. Beyond this, what I have showed you right now is beyond this also. Right? So let us go one by one to various charts and graphs. I'll go step by step. If you miss out anywhere, most welcome to ask. I'll try and repeat it. So how many of us agrees this chart which I'm showing you right over here is a better chart? I'll also do something out here. So is a better chart than this chart to compare between actual and target sales? Just put a yes in the chat box. Right? I hope we all agree. Let us see how this chart can be made, right? Let us see how we can make this chart by simple customization of the previous chart. So what we do is, we have few steps. I click on the graph, you can follow along with me, and then we'll go to much more advanced charts. So I click here, I go to insert tab, From this insert tab, I go to recommended charts. In this recommended charts, I go to all charts. Instead of taking a clustered column, I take a stacked column chart. And press OK. Now the chart which gets drawn looks like this. Again, so what I did is, I'll repeat the steps for all of us. I clicked here, I went to insert tab, I went to recommended charts. In recommended charts, I went to all charts. In all charts, there are a lot of column charts. I went to clustered, the stacked column, and I opted for this chart and pressed OK. Right? So I pressed OK. Now after doing this, if you look at this chart, what I'm going to do is, I'll right click on this top chart. Now, if this chart area, this is the series of target sales, orange one. So I'm going to right click on this orange one. I'm going to say change series chart type. This window opens up. Are we all on this? Right. Now in the target sale, which is tagged column, I go and click here. I go and select something which is tagged line with markers. Click on this. Can you see my chart? And I press OK. Can you see my chart changing like this? Right. Now this is your actual sales and these are your target. Obviously, this is different from what I've shown you here. So let us see more. I'll repeat the steps once again after this in case you missed out on any step. So I double click on this. Series, this format data series. Now this is what we call the data series. This is the data series of target sales. Now in this, if you see these three columns are selected, but I go and select this fill in line. Right? In this fill in line, I'll go to this line chart and say no line. So my line goes off, only the marker remains. Now just next to this line is this marker option. I'll repeat the steps. You can follow along at that. Then also, if you missed somewhere, so I click on this marker. Just below this marker options, you have this marker options. So I click on this. I come down to built-in. Now, if you are using previous versions of Excel, probably this built-in is not available. Right? Even if it's available, probably it will have only 3 options. This option which I'm putting in may not be available. But I scroll down and I come to built-in. In this type, I go here and select the horizontal bar. And because industry standard is to keep approximately the bar between 15 and 25 depending on the requirement, I make the size to be 20 and press OK. You see your broad graph is done. We can do the look and feel on it, but the broad graph is done. Right. One more thing I would like to add out here. Can you see these figures are too big? If I show these figures like this on the graph, it is probably not a very good representation of the graph. So we can do something about it. I go and double click on this vertical axis. Right. Just double click on it. On the right side, it comes as format axis. In format axis, go and select this 3 axis options, which is the 3 columns. This graph sort of thing. In this, come down to axis options. If you scroll down, there is something which we call to be the display units. When I click on this display unit, I can go and select it to be millions. The moment I do this, my vertical bar looks good. My vertical axis looks good now. And obviously we can do a lot of more look and feel if you want. I can click here and take off the grid lines. If you want, I can type here to be actual versus target. Actual versus target. And if I want some colors, etc. to be filled in within this chart, I can double click here, which becomes a format chart area. Click here and put it as some gradient line or something. Or we can put it, I want to fill something out here. I say gradient fill. See, this is how it looks like. If I want to be texture fill, I can fill it like this. I've selected some picture. Otherwise, I'll just, I can put some pattern fill in it. Something like this. I hope this is visible. Do you want me to repeat the steps? I'll do that if you're missed on somewhere. Just put it in the chat if you could follow this, and if it is fine, else you can let me know. I'll repeat the steps if anyone missed out on this. I hope this is clear. So what I have done is I've not played much. What I've just played is with the graph. But now this graph looks much better and is much more readable than your other graph, which was this one, the first one which we drew. Like the bars, the 14 bars. Now it has only 7 bars. Obviously, a lot of other things can be done out here. We could have gone to some series and we could reduce the size out here. We can reduce the gap width so that it looks better, and all those things can be done. Right? Just to give you a broad idea, although we all have been using this area is what we call to be the chart area. Within this area is what we call to be the plot area. Right? I can customize the plot area again. If I click here, I can set plot area to be solid filled with some lighter color like this. Just have a look. So chart area can customize separately, plot area can be customized separately. These are your data series. One data series is actual sales, one data series is your target sales. Within this data series, if I click only on April, we call this to be data point. Data points can also be filled with some other color. Suppose this is the data point I want to focus on, so I make it maroon. So you can customize your chart according to your own requirement and make it look much better than as it was looking previously. Right? I hope this is clear. So your chart can be seen to be embedded like this also. So a lot of things can be filled in out here. I hope this is clear with everyone. Great. So quick steps, quick repetition of steps. Thanks for confirming on the chat. We should apply the background outside. No, Aarti, we should not. But it depends. There are a lot of corporate coloring scheme that we follow. I'm just trying to tell you what all can be done. Depends where are you using it. Right? I hope that answers your question. I'm not saying we need to put in, like, I'll show you something which we can put in. But I'm not saying we need to put in the patterns and then the professional setup. Probably not. But yes, if your corporate culture says you need to make the background to be yellow or light orange or maroon, whatever, so that we need to follow. And there is a lot of things that we can do in this. I hope that answers. Others, please quick yes. That helps. Okay. I'll just repeat the steps fast so that we all can understand what I did. So I clicked here on this chart, on the data. I went to insert tab, recommended charts, all charts. In place of clustered column, I selected stacked column, pressed OK. This window comes up. Now in this window, I right clicked on this and say change series chart type. In change series chart type, I set target sales to be stacked line with markers and pressed OK. So this changed to this. Then I double clicked on this data series, went to this line and said no line. So line went off. Went to markers, marker option, built in, and the vertical line, and change the size to be approximately 20. So this is how the chart looks like. Great. So let us come to, and I could have done something more to this chart. If time permits, I'll tell you what. Just have a look. Can you see, is it the same chart? I'll just make this in millions so that it looks better. Can you see, it is the same chart, right? But there is something which is add on to this. If time permits, I'll let you know how this can be done, because this will require. Can you see, this is actual versus target only? But there's a control panel. See, if I deselect this control panel from here, what happens to the chart? This is how it looks like. So I'm now controlling this chart from a control panel which looks like this. The moment I said click on this target sales, see the figures also comes in, and you can see the actual versus target. If time permits, I'll definitely cover this one also. Right? This is an extension to it, where I'm trying to control. When I'm presenting only the actual data, I'll not show the target data. I'll only present the actual data during presentation. When I want to compare it, what was the target and how much I achieved in various months, I'll just select this off so that this comes in. Although this data will also be in another sheet, only the graphs will move in the dashboard. I hope that is clear. Okay, Piyush, we are not doing it right now. I'm just showing. Let us do what we want to do. If time permits, I'll definitely come back to this. Okay, let us come to a very interesting chart now. Slightly tricky, but very interesting. I hope this every one of us would understand how this chart is much better than what we have done. Okay, just a quick data. I'll tell you what my data is. I have a category of sales of some person ABC, and we have some categories of sales. Somebody who achieves less than the 50% of the target is in the poor category. Somebody who achieves between 50 and 80. Now, this is not 30 from the zero. This is 50 to 80 is in the fine category. Somebody who achieves between 80 to 100 is in the good category. The actual sales which the person achieved is 82%, and the target sales was 90% of the total. At least this much was to be achieved. He achieved this much. If I have to show this on one single graph, any graph which comes to your mind, any graph which comes to your mind, if I have to show this on one single graph, line graph, anyone else? Am I clear with the data? The data says if I am in the first 50%, if I achieve less than 50%, I am in the poor category. If between 50 to 80% of the total, I'm in the fine category. Between 50 to 80 to 100, I should be in the good category. My actual sales was 82 and my target sales was 90. A lot of us says pi applies to this, but how would you show what it will show? In the same pi, you will get poor, fine, actual, target, everything. So pie chart will not work. Stacked column will not work. Waterfall will not work. Waterfall is just to show you the variation over the time period. So what will work here? Any more ideas? To funnel will not work. Funnel is for specific. I'll show you what funnel is. Gauge will also not work. Funnel will not work, Piyush. Again, column. I will show you how the column will look like. So if I put the column chart something like this, it will look like this. What we would interpret out of this? I hope we understand that this may not be useful, right? Anything else? Okay, I'll show you one chart and tell me whether that chart will help, and then we'll try and draw that chart. Just have a look at this chart. This is the chart. Can you see this chart? Now what it is showing? This yellow is showing your actual. This blue is your target. This part, this blue, I can change the color to help you better. I'll change the color of this to help you better. I'll make this to be red so that we can look at it. If somebody does a target sales between in this range, he's in the poor category. Between this and this, it's a fine category. Between this and this, it's a good category. I'll make this also greenish or something so that it looks better, right? I hope this is clear. So are we able to interpret, even if I'm not telling you or not sitting here, are we able to interpret how much this person achieved and in which category he is? If you can just put in the chat box. Yes. So can you just interpret how much has he achieved? Is he in the good category or in the poor category? This is yellow is what he has achieved, actual sales. He's in the good category, right? And he's in the good category. And has he achieved his target? He has not achieved the target, right? But that means looking at this graph, I can exactly see what is the category. Has he achieved the target? Has he not achieved the target? I can see from this graph. Right? It's like a thermometer. It's Shubham, it's a same chart. Yes, but you can see this, right? And this is the percentage. Interestingly, some other person on the same chart, I just changed he actually achieved 65% of the target. Now see what happens to this. Now this person, we can look at, he's in the poor category, has not achieved. Suppose he achieved 95% of the target, not this one. Suppose he achieved 95%. I'll change, bring this back to 90%. He achieved 95%. Now you can look at it and say he achieved the target. Right? So shall we draw this graph? Do you want to understand how to draw this graph? And then we'll take it a step ahead. We'll try to compare something on the data analytics side. Yes. Somebody asking someone something? Okay. At the same time, I would request if a lot of us can switch on the cameras also. If you are able to, it will help me to talk to you. Otherwise, I cannot respond. Right? And at the end also, we would request the same. So whoever can, please do. Okay. So let us draw this graph step by step. Let us draw this graph step by step. Step one, select the data. Step one, select the data. Right? Step two, go to insert tab, recommended charts, all charts, and instead of clustered column, just select stacked column. Instead of clustered column, just select stacked column and select this and press OK. Done till this point? Okay. Now right click on this, right click on the plot area and go to select data. Right click on the plot area and go to select data and click on switch rows or column and press OK. Your graph will look like this. Your graph will look like this. Now these three, if I just put on the legend, so you would understand what these are. This is poor, this is fine, this is good, this is actual sales and the target sales, all are stacked one over the other. Obviously, I cannot see it like this. So what I'm going to do is, just give me a minute. Okay. What I'm going to do is right click, just follow along with me. I'll repeat it once again after this. So I hope everyone is till this point. Last time what I did is I selected the data and clicked on switch row or column. So I've reached to this point. Now, right click on the blue at the top, which is your target sales or any of these, and say change series chart type. Obviously, if I have to see two things, I cannot see it on the same axis. So once this opens up, just scroll this down. Just have a look. Scroll this down till the end. Put your actual sales and target sales on secondary axis. Put your actual sales and target sales on secondary axis and press OK. Put your actual sales and target sales on secondary axis and press OK. Now what has happened is you are not able to see. Previous to this, you are able to see all other poor, fine, good, actual, and this. But now you are only able to see which two sales, actual and target. Can you tell me where are the other, where others have gone? If any idea why it is showing in the legend, so it is not deleted, but I'm not able to see it here. What may be the reason? Reason is it has gone beyond this. It is hidden behind this, right? It is hidden behind this. So we need to bring that out. So what we do is I'm going to just double click on this. So this opens. After this, because I cannot select the what is behind, I'll go to the format. Just have a look. I'll go to the format. In this format, right? I have clicked on what? I'll click on this format data series should come in. Again, I'm going to double click on format data series. This data point or data point will coming in. After this, I go to this format tab. In this format tab on the left side, just scroll down. Can you see poor, fine, and good series? Select any one of these. Select any one of these. So I click on fine. It is selected from behind now. Now I go to this gap width and reduce the gap width to 0. The moment I do this, see what happens. Reduce the gap width to, it's very easy. There are few steps. First time it will look difficult, but it is very easy and very effective. So reduce the gap width to 0. The moment you do this, you are able to see the graphs which are behind it, which is good, fine, and poor category, to be shown on the other axis. Right? I'll repeat the complete thing once again after this. So I hope this is clear till this point. Right? So I went to format, I clicked on here and I selected any one of these, fine. And then I just have reduced the gap width to 0. Now what I need to do is, can you see the scaling of this? So before that, I'll just right click on this blue one, target sales. Change series chart type, because if you look at my graph, which I showed you, if you look at this graph which I showed you, this is showing like a bar as we did in the previous graph. So I'm going to do the same thing. I'll right click on this target, say change series chart type, scroll down, make this target to be stacked line with markers as we did before. Stacked line with markers and press OK. See, your target has changed to a marker. Click on this. Come here. Line is not there. It's only markers. So marker options as we did. Built in. This one and 20. Now still, can you see it is showing outside the graph? That output which I showed you, it's inside the graph. Reason being because the scaling of these two axes are different. Scaling of these two axes are different. So what we need to do is, we double click on one of the axes. Format axis. And we come to the last option, which is this, axis options. We make the bounds minimum from 0 to 1. And we'll do the same thing for this axis also. So the moment you click here, it will directly select this axis and come here. I'll also make this 0 to 1. Both axes are done. Right? Now both axes are showing 0 to 100% only. So I can obviously delete one side of it. So I'll click here and press delete. This goes off. Now just scroll it back inside. See, your graph is done. See, your graph is done. And this is much more effective than showing it by any other graph for the similar type of data. I'll repeat all the steps again. But is it, how many of us could follow it? Just put a quick yes. I'll take this again. Quick yes. How many of us have reached to this point? Great, Navya, Simran, yes, Subhriti. I'll repeat. I'll do that. So it's a complete process, right? But is it not a better graph than, and are you not lost in between? So yes, Senzin, I'll repeat the steps. I know this is slightly tricky because there are a lot of steps, but the complete making of the graph, if I don't have to tell you, it will not take more than 1 or 2 minutes. But it is much more effective. Suppose this graph is in your dashboard and you are controlling it by some panel. This is much more effective to compare. Okay, what we do is, I'll repeat the steps out here. Just follow, but slightly faster I'll go. So because after this we can, I'll also show you something after this where we have two types of data, sales target and number of units sold, where we'll create a similar graph, and it's one of the very much used graph in data analytics, because we compare the sales target as well as the number of units sold. Sales target not showing in mine graph. I'll come to that, Prabhat, again. Just have a look. So what I'm saying, click on the just select the complete data, step 1. Step 2, go to insert tab, recommended charts, all charts. I'm going to take stack column and press OK. So this chart comes up, right? After this, next step, because this is the stacked column, which is one against the other, nothing stacked tagged one over the other. So right click, select data, and say switch rows or column, and press OK. The moment I do this, these all get stacked up one over the other. The moment I do this, these all get stacked up one over the other, right? These all get stacked up one over the other. Now, next step, I want to put this in the secondary axis because I want two axes to be shown differently. So I'll right click on this, say change series chart type, and put my actual sales and target sales on secondary axis and press OK. All other sales are hidden behind now. All other sales are hidden behind now, right? The categories poor, fine, good are hidden behind now. So what I do is I click on this, double click on this so that this format data point comes up. Then I go to format option. In format option, obviously I cannot select something which is behind. So in the format option, whenever you have to select something which is in the behind, go to format, go here, you can select anything from this. So I go and select a series which is fine, poor or good. Any series you could select. So I'll now select fine series or good series. I select fine. And now I reduce the gap width to 0. So it starts showing something like this. I hope this is clear. Now I do the same process which I did in the last graph. I right click. I say change series chart type. This target sales, I want to make it as a marker at the top. So stack line with marker, press OK. So this comes at the top. I click on this, double click on this so that I can see format data point here. I go to this, go to marker. We have already done this. I'm moving a little faster. Marker options, built in. Click here, go to this vertical bar, 20 and OK. Right? So this comes like this. Now you can see it is outside the graph. This is outside the graph, right? Now what we have to do, because the scalings are different. So double click on any one of the axis, on the axis. So this should show as format axis here. Go to this axis options at the end. You can see you are on the fill option. Go to axis options. In this select axis options, make this from 0 to 1. That means I want to do the scaling from 0 to 100%. So I did this. Same thing, you have to click on this axis, make it from 0 to 1. Right? I'll open the legends at the end so that you can see this what category is what. Now obviously I don't want these to be on the both sides. So I click here and delete this one. Reduce the size, you have the chart with you. I hope this is working. This is what we call to be the thermometer chart or the bullet chart. I hope it's working. Just a quick yes, and I hope this is a interesting chart to learn. Quick yes. A lot of participants out here, almost 176. I can expect at least 100 yeses now. Before we go to the next one. Great. Thanks for confirming, Dorji, Shivang. Shivang. Others also, please confirm if this is fine. We go to the next then. Great. Wonderful. So, wonderful to get all the yeses. I'll go to the next chart. Just have a look. Very interesting. Now, if I have a data, I'll do Aarti. I'll give you a link. Those who are attending, definitely. I'll upload it and let you all know. Please do not. You are already on that classroom where you have joined in. In the end, I'll be sharing the feedback come attendance form. Those who fill that will definitely get the certificate, and also we'll be sharing the recording at some point of time. I'll let you know in 2 or 3 days. Okay. So I go to worksheet C. Can we come to worksheet C? In this worksheet C, if you look now, I have the same thing, but I have the sales target as well as number of units sold target. Now somebody achieving the sales target, actual sales being he might have achieved the 90%, he has to achieve 85%, he achieved 90%. I'll change this a bit. I'll make this number of units sold. Now there are generally two targets. One is the total number of sales, other is also on the number of units sold. See, number of units sold means number of customers, number of clients, or something like that. Why there are two targets? There may be because it may happen that you have completed the sales target, but by selling to only one customer, or by selling a high value product to one customer. That means probably in the next year or in the next month you are not able to sell that. Probably it is not sustainable. So somebody who may be selling more number of units with the same sales target may be more sustainable, something like that. I'm not saying every situation, but this. So if I have to show this, and if I have to present this as a data visualization tab so others can take a decision whether this was a good or not, do you think creating something like this is a good idea? I'll make this 95 and I'll also change this. Just have a look. And I'll also change this that he achieved 90%. Do you think this is and I'll make this 85%. Do you think this is a good idea? Something like this for 80%. And now you are able to see on the single graph, what is my sales target achieved, how much is the number of units sold. Right? And if it's in your dashboard, anybody can interpret and see how much efficiency have we shown and what type of which target have we achieved or not. Now, the process of this will remain the same. So I'll run quickly through it before I go to the next type of chart. And I can draw this chart in one go. Just have a look. I can draw this chart in one go. I'll select, instead of selecting only this, I'll select this together. Right? I'll select this together. I'll follow the same process. Insert, recommended charts, all charts, stacked column, this, and OK. Same process. You can follow it later. Just have a look at it right now so that we can cover at least one more graph before we close for the session, for the time ends. So this done, right click on it, go to select data, say switch row or column and press OK. Now you have two units like this. You have two things like this. Again, right click on this, change series chart type, scroll down and make say actual sales and target sales on secondary axis. Press OK. Actual sales and target sales on secondary axis and press OK. Now double click on this, not only on this, both together, right? So what we need to do is, I'll just bring it back, double click, I'll click outside, double click on this. So this comes up, I go to here, right? What I need to do is I go to format, I go to any of this fine or something, and I have to reduce the gap. Now if you reduce it to 0, there is a small catch. It will fill up like this. I don't want to do that. So I'll slightly leave the space in between, something like this, so that both graphs can be drawn. So I'll not make it 0, I'll leave it to around 30% or so. Right, I hope this is done. Now right click on this, change series chart type, again the same process. I scroll down, I say target sales to be stacked line with markers, press OK. Now you can see a line out here. So click here, format data series, because I'm talking of the series altogether. So I'll go to line and I say no line in this case, so that the line can be deleted. I go to marker options, built in, this one, vertical horizontal line, 20. One last step, what is remaining is to change the axis to 0 to 1. So I click here, double click on this, format axis, 0 to 1. Same I'll do for this also 0 to 1. So work is done because I selected both the axes together. Again, obviously I'll come here, delete this off, delete chart title if you don't want, reduce the size. Now can you see both here? Click here, remove the grid lines. Is it fine? And hopefully we all will be able to do it later when we try it. Is it fine with all? Right, same process, only one step slightly different where we need to keep a gap, not make it 0. Yes, both are working separately and we created it together. Now see, if somebody achieve actual sales in this number of units sold is more than this, suppose it is 80%. So I click here, it will go to 80%. So just by changing for different people, different things, you can see how much is achieved. And the other person who is making the interpretation is able to do it better. Right? Okay, great. Wonderful to see everybody absorbing this and learning from this. Great. So try it out later. Let us show you one more very interesting graph out of it. Before I go to that graph, I'll show you a quick tip. Quick tip. A lot of these tricks are also available in Insta, etc. But I'll show you a quick tip. Suppose you drew this. I went to worksheet A just to show you something. I selected this and actual sales and drew. Suppose I had drawn one graph something like this just to show you, right? And now somebody says I want the target sales also. I also want the target sales into this. What we generally do, we would again go here, select data or change the graph again or draw the graph again. I tell you a quick tip. Just select this data, any data. It can be a discontinuous column also. Copy this, Control C, click here and paste this. You will have the graph. Again, what I'm saying, very simple, quick tip, right? I made a graph out of this and this. I selected these two, only the month and the target sales. I inserted and I went here. I created this graph, target sales. Now somebody said, I also want to see the actual sales. So I select this, copy this, click on this and Control V. See, my target sales is also there. Have you used this before? Is it a quick tip to manage your graph? Great. Right, and this helps, right? This is going to every time Excel. I always say in every session that I've taken till now, I always say one thing. Excel is about two things. One is about the efficiency, other is about the effectiveness. How much you know is your effectiveness, and how fast we can do is your efficiency. So this is what helps me to manage the graph faster. There are a lot of tricks which are available with us in different platforms also, and I'll be keep on doing these such workshops, and I hope we can make a difference. Wonderful. Thanks for confirming, everyone. Thanks, Karma, and interesting that wonderful. Thanks for confirming. Great. I hope this is fine with all till this point. Let us go to the next graph. Let us go to the next graph. Most welcome, Emma. Let us come to worksheet E. Worksheet D that you have. Worksheet D that you have. I'll delete this off. You have this worksheet D. I'm working on my own worksheet, slightly different it may be. Okay. So you have this data with you on worksheet C. I'll remove all this off. This is not there. Any of these things not there. You have only this data, month, actual sales and target sales, right? You have this data. If I have to show this and I want to show this as a increasing, that means if I select the month number, I only want to see the actual sales till that point. That means I want to draw a graph which looks like this. Just have a look. I'll show you the graph on screen. Give me a minute. I want to help screen mode. I hope you can see the graph. I want to draw a graph which looks like this, where if I change the month number from here, I've selected till 12th month. So if I change the month number from here, that means I drop down and I select, I only want to see till 7. Just see what happens. You are able to see only till 7. If I go here and say till 3, so you are able to see. So this is an ascending chart. This will keep on changing So for that, we have to do two things. I have created a drop down. You can not draw the drop down. You can just type the month number also. But if you want to understand how to draw the drop down, I'll just do it for you. If you want to understand how to create this drop down, just note down the quick steps. Although that was not the agenda, but still, right? So I'll just create it here. Just give me a minute. I'll put it on full screen so that we can always show it. Now, if I want to create a drop down here, just click on this cell, any cell. Remember which cell you are clicking on, right? So click on this cell, go to data tab at the top, data tab at the top. In this data tab, on the right side, there is data validation, this side, data tab, data validation. Click on this data validation. Any value is allowed. Just click on this and say list. It is asking you where is the source of list. This is from where I'm going to select the month number. This is where I'm going to select the month number. And I press OK. Your drop down from 1 to 12 is created. Just make it centralized so that you can see. Your drop down from 1 to 12 is created. Just to show you better. So from here, you can select the month number. Right? Okay. Now issue is what I want to draw is a sales of where month and target sales is shown every time. Right? Sales and target this month and target sales is seen every time, but actual sales is only seen till the point of time for which this month is. So I'm going to write a formula out here. I'm going to write a formula out here, and here which I'm saying actual sales till what month. So I'm going to write a formula out here which says equal to if this is less than equal to this, then what I want is the actual sales, else what I want is a blank. Else what I want is a blank. Just see the formula. If this is less than equal to this, I want the actual sales, else a blank. And obviously, if I have to drag it down, what should I freeze? I have to freeze D2. Because if I don't freeze D2, this D2 will move. So I'd say function F4 and this is freezed. Now if I drag this down, you can see this is still 9 filling, rest are blank because we have selected 9. So if I scroll down and select 12, this is still 12. Now, while drawing the graph, what I'm going to do is, while drawing the graph, just a minute, while drawing the graph, what I'm going to do is, I'll select this, press a control and select these two. Press a control and select these two. Go to insert tab, go to line chart and draw this line chart. Can you see this line chart out here? Right, because I don't want actual sales to pick up from actual sales is from here. But it is showing till complete because 12. But there is one problem. If I select till 3, this is how the graph will show. Because after 3 it is 0, it has come down to 0. Now to avoid this, that it should not come down to 0, right? It cannot handle, obviously this is 0. Blank is a 0 for it, so it comes down to 0 and showing you 0. And it is not looking good. That was not how my graph was showing. My graph was just reducing. A small change out here. Do you know there is a function in Excel which creates the error, which is NA? If I say NA, open the bracket, close the bracket, it will give me NA error. There's a function in Excel which is NA. If I open the bracket, close the bracket, it will give me NA error. Same concept I'm going to use out here. In place of this blank, I am going to run after this comma. I'll say NA and press enter. Now when I'll bring this down. Just have a look. I click here, I bring this down. See your graph changes. Why? Because Excel cannot handle errors. It cannot handle error. It will not bring this down. I can obviously make it like this so you won't see it, right? Excel cannot handle errors, so it is not bringing it down. Right now your graph is done. Technically your graph is done. There is few more things like how to customize this. Probably, I hope this is working for all. If you want the formula, I'll put the formula in the chat box. I'll put the formula in the chat box. Just give me a minute. Yes, Dr. Aarti, I hope the formula is clear. I put it in the chat box. This is the formula. Okay, thanks. After formula, what I've done is what I've done after doing this formula. What I've done is I have created this chart. Created this chart means what I want. I want the month and the target sales. So you cannot select like this because this actual sales will come in. So I selected the month. I pressed the control and selected these two together. And then when I went to insert tab, I went to this line charts and selected this line chart, and it was working perfectly. Although in my chart there is one more thing, I am not putting it right now here. In my chart, even this was changing accordingly. Actual sales till the month of May. So if I click here and do this, so it is showing actual sales in the month of September. This was also changing. Right now it may take some time because some more formulas may not be possible, but if you all wish, I'll create a small video on how this was done and share it with you over YouTube or over the platform. So if you want that, please put a yes. I'll definitely do that. Right? I hope you understand what I'm saying. Till what we have done is we have not done this. This is dynamic changing of the Excel. So if you want that, I'll put that and you are all on the WhatsApp group, I hope. So please be there. I'll share it over the WhatsApp group, the link to the any error in all, because probably you did not block D2. So please do that. I hope this is working for all, and I hope in 1 hour I could make some difference with all of us. I would definitely request everyone, right? Please do let me know if I can make small difference with everyone. I've taken one screenshot. It would be great if thanks. So it would be great if I'll stop the sharing. It will be great if a lot of us can be on the screen before I share the feedback form as well as the other form. You can please be on the screen. We can take 1 or 2 screenshot which I'll share over the group for all of us to have. Thanks Divya, thanks Sonal, Akash, thanks. So thanks Prabhat. So request you all to be on the screen. Please be here so that thanks Purnima. We will just take the screenshot so that we can share it, and then I'll share the links for the thank you so much. Thank you all. Just a minute. Thank you so much. I'm just waiting for more to come on the screen so that right. I hope. Wonderful. Thanks, Karma. I hope you all enjoyed the session and I could add some value to the session. Just give me a minute. I don't know. Yes. Minimize this off. Okay, we can just take few screenshots for all the screens. Thanks you for all of you to come in here. It was wonderful interacting. I'll just put the feedback attendance form based on which will be sharing the certificates with all of you. So it is great. Just a minute. Okay. Sneha, thanks. Thanks, Komal. Sonali is here. Shubham, Archana. Thank you all. Kriti, Aditya, Deki. Dr. Aarti, thanks you so much for being here. Wonderful to have you in the session. So you can any one of you want to share some experience or what you want more of such workshops, please you can always unmute and speak up. It will be great to hear from a lot of us. If anyone wants to share something, I would be very happy to.
Very nice. It was really nice, and actually I learned a few more graphs which I was not knowing earlier. So thank you very much for this.
Thanks a lot. Thanks a lot, Dr. Ati. Thank you so much. It was
Thank you so much,
wonderful.
sir. It was very good session, sir, and we learn about many of the graphs and techniques, what they or what we don't have earlier, sir. Thank you, sir.
Most welcome, Amit. Thank you so much. Thanks, Purva. Thanks for all the wonderful words. I'll just put few links before I put that. It will be great, and I would love all of you to be connected in one way or the other. So I'm also putting the channels that we have for various things. So a lot of learning material, right? So a lot of learning material on all these channels, especially on the Insta. You have a lot of tricks, YouTube, etc. And I'm also putting the feedback form link.
So
Just give
can
me a
you
minute.
please send the functions chart?
The functions.
Chart.
Just give me a minute. A minute, please. I'll just do that. A minute. I believe it has gone to only one person because everyone in the meeting. These are the various channels where you will find us, where you will find a lot of reading material. Apart from this, I'll also put the feedback from this form, which also becomes your attendance. Function chart, if you want, I'll upload a PDF on the same platform from where you might have downloaded your uh, the shortcut key. Have you downloaded that? Yes, LinkedIn is there, Lakshay. I put all there is a lot of reading material available on Insta. There is a lot of material. YouTube will come up very fast. I'll put this session also on YouTube. If you want, I'll share you the link again over the WhatsApp group. Okay. This is the form. Thank you so much, Prabhat. So I put in the form for the feedback attendance sheet. Thanks, Sam. Thanks, Vineet. Divya, thanks. Rohit, thanks. I'm just looking at the faces. So some of the names I may miss out, but Sudhanshu there, thanks. So a lot of students, a lot of people from across world. We have almost 10 countries people out here right now. So thank you all for being here, for taking out time for one hour and responding and taking it ahead. So I've just put the form also. Click on that and see how it works. Just give me a minute. Just and if you want, I'll share this. I'll share uh, the video for how to make dynamic titles and put it across to you, right? And put it across to you. So dynamic titles, I'll definitely create a video and put it across to you as required. And we are planning a lot of more sessions to come in the next every 15 days or something. So I hope to see you all back again every time we do some session. And it was great to look at one figure. I always look at one figure, how many people started and how many people are till then. So that makes a lot of conclusion automatically. So we have almost 100% attention till this point. So thank you so much and for all the value add. I hope everyone has the link. If you want me, I can put the link again for the, because if you miss here, it becomes very difficult to share the link again with you, right? It becomes very difficult. This is the link. You need to fill in the feedback form. Please spare your 5 minutes, fill in the form constructively, put your views, what you liked about the workshop constructively, uh, and every other thing. And this also becomes your attendance for the workshop. So please put your name correctly. That name will be picked up for your certificate also. So please make sure that we are doing that, and don't do it twice. Otherwise, two certificates created becomes very difficult. And we'll put the certificate link wherever we uploaded on the WhatsApp group. So please do not leave the WhatsApp group for now, because certificates, other things will be shared over there only. And you need to fill this form early, because after 10-15 minutes we'll close this form, so that only who have attended should get the certificate. Other certificate has no meaning. Right, so please do that. Thank you so much. Thank you so much for being here. I'll be closing the session, and great to have all of you here. Yes, it's done. Thank you so much. Thanks, Sonal. Thanks all. I'll just close the session now. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Thank you. Most welcome. Thank you guys. Thank you all. Just close the session.
Thank you, sir.